We haven't even started yet, Judge. Oh, I see we have a different judge today. Look at this. Science Court. That's what we're doing today. Y'all remember Science Court? Welcome to the ManokAdobo stream, where we talk about old cartoons from the 90s and early 2000s with no context. It's an old cartoon about how, like, people... Of course, it's an American cartoon. Maybe it's not American. I need to look that up. Where people would sue each other over properties of science and physics, and then they'd have, like, school teachers come on in to testify, like, oh, no, this pipe isn't leaking. It's just cold so that it's condensating, and then the water dripped on you from the outside of the pipe. Even though someone's trying to sue for, like, damages, you slipped on a puddle. What? Let's hope that's not what happened today, because let's hope the science is fake. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2, Resolved. We're in the second trial of Case 3 for the case of Professor Hairbrain and the accused murder of Odie Assman. Now we've learned a couple of things since last time. We actually found the engineer, Mr. Mystery Man. Now we found Drebber, the engineer who made the teleportation device, and of course he seems a little eccentric, but hopefully we can get some good testimony out of him today. He also tried to blow us up with an anti-gravity device. Let's get into it. Oh, look at what they used. Probably the last time we'll ever see this part of the fair intact. It got blown up. Oh, I hope nobody got hurt. Oof. I hope everybody's doing well. I am streaming on a Tuesday. It's not usual for me these days, but, you know, schedules have to work out that way. 24th October, 9:18 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be. Even I with nothing left. Good morning, my dear fellows. Nothing left to lose, you say? How about your sanity? Because Sherlock Sholmes is here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally. A true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later, then. Thanks for coming. Goodbye. Me, when somebody comes into the stream to lurk, I was like, hi, bye. Stream's gonna bleed tomorrow for you. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. In my time zone, I usually end at around midnight, so for me, this is a Tuesday stream. But I understand time zones exist. Fair enough. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Yes! Do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand and invite it again. And definitely don't make false confessions to stabbing the victim, because that doesn't help anybody. My dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter? What's the matter? What's your name? Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction? Yeah, thanks for putting on a grand show during that deduction yesterday. I enjoyed it with the anti-gravity stuff. I will say, I can't believe I accidentally got that deduction right. I was going to pick the wardrobe, but like I knew that it made sense. Oh yeah, he's looking for the safe combination so he can get inside it. Like, okay, but the game wants us very much to check the wardrobe first. Sholmes is even like, oh, you know what a person would hide in this situation. This is what happens when I try to pick the wrong answer on purpose. Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Sherlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation, arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle, you must agree. Arise, Sherlock, arise. You know, You know, that's the best I could say for him in most appearances he's had in the game. I do applaud him this one time.
Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to employ a full gamut of tactics. She took out this briefcase from Inception and just stuck an IV into my arm, and she invaded my dreams.
That didn't happen, Sholmesy. You just dreamt that.
Well, felt real to me. She pulled off the covers, shook me, poked both cheeks, both sets of cheeks, punched me, and then kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred and bescarred. I had to put on makeup today. You do not want to see what I look like without this.
Oh my, Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice.
Ah, I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea.
Oh no, they might actually encourage each other.
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory.
Can we focus on the trial today?
Oh!
Impregnable. Nothing can impregnate Sherlock Holmes. His sleep.
Sorry to cut in.
Oh.
Sorry to cut in.
No, Inspector Gregson. Good morning. Every stream, my Gregson voice devolves further and further. I need to get Brad back in here so we can voice him again.
Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh? Dear me. Are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? What? I don't know!
Poor Professor. Calm down, Professor. Gregson's here to help. He was investigating with us yesterday. He even took the fall. Absolutely fantastic chat, this Gregson lad.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork?
You know, that second autopsy thing. Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
Sherlock Holmes, obviously a JoJo character. What's his stand power, you think? The ability to deduce anything, even if it's slightly wrong. Like, he's always coming to the correct conclusion as long as somebody is there to fill in the blanks and incorrect words he's inserted into his speech. That's why it has this whole, like, show and dance to it. He's actually summoning the spotlights and music.
You won't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
It is an autopsy report. Wait, the professor's autopsy report? Yeah, how could he have gone out of the grave if he had an autopsy? If he was actually found to be dead and dissected?
That mass murderers?
Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy? Sholmes has a hard time getting up in the morning because of all that opium and cocaine. Right, he canonically does drugs. That is a thing. That is a thing we talked about during the first Great Ace Attorney. I don't think they outright said it, but they heavily implied it. So even then, like, you can tell that the writers of this game did a lot of research on Sherlock Holmes in general.
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. He was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
Killer's autopsy report has been entered to the court record. That reminds me, I need to make sure I check any evidence that I have not yet in 3D. So I checked the camera, it had a blood stain, interesting enough. Did I check the waxwork head yet? I wonder if I can somehow unlock this, that'd be great. What are the chances that the actual wax head in here has the accurate appearance of the professor, though? Like, why bother if it was going to be locked up anyway? This lock does look very strong, doesn't it? They did their research, and they applied it by making Sherlock Holmes definitely under the influence of something every time we see him. Stand name, Alice in Chains. There's definitely no way you could remove that mask yourself if it was put on you.
But What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
I know. It's starting to make me livid, actually.
Mr. Naruhodo, please.
I mean, just think about it. Don't think about it. Imagine if you have an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless. Everybody in the chat is now scratching their cheek.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure. That warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right. Sorry. Naruhodo, is there something you're not telling us? There's something you do on the weekends that you don't want Suzato knowing? I mean, Herlock Sholmes knows. Of course. But he's promised to swear an oath of silence. Look at this thing. Looks like a Dragon Quest boss. The Knight Aberrant. Let's get the autopsy report. Leon Sujikin, welcome on in.
Go.
Condemned prisoner. Redacted for confidentiality. Pseudonym.
The professor!
I can't believe Professor Layton would do all of this. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June. Courtney Stevens. I don't know if that name is important, but I'll remember it. Confirmed, huh? Confirmed by Courtney Stevens? Did I check this yet? No, I haven't. It kind of looks like an outhouse, but with like complete lack of privacy whatsoever. It's like Shrek's outhouse. He just lets it fall over, and if anybody happens to see him doing his business, well, you know, that's everybody else's problem.
What are you doing in my swamp?
I can't find anything out of place. Try harder, Naruhodo. Oh, there's like a crack at the bottom. Ah, look here, Miss Suzato.
Oh, yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying, down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
Should have put a seatbelt in the thing. I think that's it. Oh, interesting. It kind of looks like it plugs into something. Or like it's suspended by wires. Alright. Anything else? Ooh. I should inspect my hair. Looking nice. Or should I say...
Looking cool. Oh yeah, Mondo Water. Kuwabara. You talking to me?
I think that's it. Alright, back to the scheduled program. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector.
You're welcome, and nice hair.
Thank you.
Yes, much obliged, Gregson. Don't call me Gregson. We're not on last name terms. We're not even on first name terms. In fact, just do not refer to me. Us lonely lot of the yard are just doing what we can in the shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course.
Excuse me, is that a sign of respect I detect? To Sholmes? Gregson, he ain't a bad guy. He ain't a bad guy at all. No, I am a Dragon Quest boss. Yeah, probably. I'm a bantamweight. No, really, there's a Dragon Quest monster called a bantamweight. Haru knows. Sprint knows. It's a pun on Bantam Chicken. Well then, Professor Hairbrain. This is it. Today we're going to lay all this to rest at last. I'm taking that to mean that there's no third day of trial.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor. I suppose he'll be in there today, will he?
Unless he got caught in the blast. Oh, no, yeah, Drebber, yeah, him.
Drebber! Yes. We expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
Got my voice filter ready.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant! The trial is about to resume! Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once! If bailiffing doesn't work out for this bailiff, then he could go into theater, I believe. He's got the voice for it. Show tunes! This is it then. The final chapter. Not of the game, Naruhodo. Not by far. Funny. My heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding. Yep, sounds like you got it bad, Ryunosuke. You're in love with Enoch Drebber. What? As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters. Finding the truth. Unstoppable 8,000 welcome money in as well. Sherlock Holmes ate soap. He's clearly onto something. Did he eat soap? Or did he just say William Shakespeare ate soap? 24th October, 9:30 a.m. Old Bailey courtroom. I can't remember anything beyond like 5 days ago. Ooh, that apprentice is here. I saw him. Yes, he's standing on our left side. I know my intro was wrong.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
I'll also say I did a terrible job of enunciating all the dialogue last time there was a court proceeding, and I greatly apologize for that. I was watching the VOD, I'm like, I can't understand anything. I was in a hurry that day, honestly.
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord. He got minor soap poisoning. He got curious and ate the soap. Well, classic Sholmes, eh? As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. Well, whoever his apprentice is, he's pretty good at wielding a sword, if that newspaper is anything to go by. Oh. Well, I've got mine too. We're even.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, my lord. There appears to be someone standing at your side. Shall I call the bailiff? Shall I have him removed? Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see the complexity of this case rise considerably.
Oh! He helps him pour the wine. Oh no, yeah. Oh no, yeah. Whoever this is, I wonder who. They definitely get the high score in the bamboo slicing minigame in Skyward Sword. One humdinger-linger of a score!
I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial and my wine.
And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it. I swear, either these jokes are predictable or I just know how Capcom writers work. The way he holds himself, the way he moves, the way he grooves. It couldn't be anyone else. Oh. Sparkle Ice. One part infatuation, one part sadness. But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment. I know, but... oh, this is so very hard. It's Wendy Oldbag! You think she's that old? You think she's that old that she'd be a young adult in 1897? I believe it. Also, what's up, Mario Kamen?
It would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Somehow.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
You think she'd still be an old woman in the early 1900s? She's just that old. She was born old. Like Benjamin Button, except she never got young.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civil duty.
I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence, and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
Okay, the last two jurors are just repeating themselves at this point. We're back? Sorry, internet cut out a little bit.
If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zieks.
My internet connection's ready.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court.
Oh good, he's going to present another autopsy report before I even present mine.
Yesterday at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case. The super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion effected by an unknown person or persons.
It blew up? It blew up.
It was what?
An explosion! This is an outrage!
Even Bonesaw is ready. Sorry, I'm not doing my Randy Savage impression today. If any one of these characters would be Randy Savage, who would it be? The judge?
Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers, and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene, taken in the wake of this explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine.
Oh, look at that. Do I even need to zoom in? It's pretty obvious. Remember when Herlock said that the duplicate machine at Drebber's office was hollow? Well, the real one seems to be as well, huh?
Shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he? That Enoch Trevor.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel.
The post-explosion photograph has been entered into the court record. I'm even doing my normal speech in an English accent. I hope it's halfway decent.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial.
Maybe your side of the argument's gonna be different, but I'm saying the same thing. Look at that point.
As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed, a most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection.
No. I'm betting a big part of this trial will be proving that the copy in the lab is exactly the same as the real one. It's gonna be hard because the blueprints are burned. As Lord Van Zieks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. The question is, what is your major malfunction, Van Zieks? Ooh! However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please.
The engineer, Mr. Enoch Trevor, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Assman. So what exactly were those two men up to behind the defendant's back? Behind the defendant's ass, man. The defendant intends to expose that ass information and thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant.
Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zieks, summon your first witness, please.
Let's just get it over with. Get Mr. Drebber out of here.
At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Mr. ManokAdobo, to the stand.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo. Domo.
State your name and occupation for the court.
Name, ManokAdobo. Occupation. Hard to pin down, I would say.
See that black monocle? Why, I do feel as though I've seen it somewhere before.
Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself. Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork motor, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
How did we not find, like, a better name for this thing? The Civic. The Civic. The Honda Civic. We took care of that last time.
Yes, you could say that. Oh, what is this? There's egg on my face. Does not compute. Does not compute. Egg. 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 I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there?
It was you, Mr. Trevor, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment.
Oh, you can tell he's playing coy, despite the fact that he sounds like G-Man from Half-Life. I'm getting better at it. First company, welcome on in. Ready for another installment of yelling deductions at British court people. If you yell in British, it makes you sound smarter. Who's that besides Van Zeeks? It's his assistant. His new assistant who has just joined him in the last few months, suspiciously. And for some reason, he's really good at handling a sword. And we might think it's our dead friend. That's already been revealed in the game, so I feel comfortable saying that. But we have no proof, but... Really? The game's gonna do that? I had no idea it was gonna come out of nowhere. And he has amnesia, yes. Green Link, what's up? Science Court? Yeah, Science Court is great. Welcome to another episode of Science Court. How about that?
Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all.
Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
His assistant is this dude from Final Fantasy XIV. Nabrialis? I can't use that picture, it's a WebP. Hold on, I got this. You know, the resemblance is pretty uncanny. You're telling me they had a crossover with Square Enix? What's next? He takes off the mask and actually he's just a Dragon Quest slime? Alright, Drebber. Explain it all. Go Clarissa on our ass.
An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last.
What?
Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up.
Objection!
He's not a bad slime, promise. We already established that the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
Not much we can do to prove that now, is there? That was his plan all along.
You established nothing of the sort.
Hey. Oh yeah, take out the mask. He's just a member of Organization 13. He's still got the hood.
All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility. Nothing more.
But, Something tells me we're gonna have a lot of jury convincing to do today.
You've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration of the great exhibition.
You're getting Yakuza 7 vibes? You know.
Understood.
Reminder that Ace Attorney and Yakuza share a universe because of Project Cross Zone. Okay, maybe not canonically, but there is a universe in which Majima was defended by Phoenix Wright. Kinesis machine.
I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow.
Oh, little do you know. Little do you know. One of my favorite types of lies. When the villains go like, there is no way you can prove this plot point. Unless you have a piece of evidence that clearly says it. A body double? Yeah, he had a stunt double.
That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't, it's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines?
Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman had no twin siblings.
For once. For once, the prosecution took it upon themselves. You know, it's come up more than once in regular Ace Attorney, and I'm just, not a lot, but I'm surprised it happened more than once.
It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine.
Robot Kyo? Yeah, Kyo from Danganronpa.
Whatever do you mean?
He's doing the robot this entire time. How you doing, still soft-spoken? Welcome on in.
Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. He's a sham, a fraud. He's a fraud. Hi. Dead Souls, Kiryu, and Majima, because in Cross Zone, they use the movesets with guns. Oh. Speaking of Yakuza Dead Souls, I'm officially putting it on my list of games I'm going to play during Spooktober. Yeah, I'm doing the thing that every streamer does, scary games only. But hey, now that I'm into the Yakuza series, I know it's not the greatest place to start story-wise, but also it's like not supposed to be totally canon anyway. So I think it's a pretty good game to insert into any time of the year, especially Halloween.
Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for that young talent in science there.
Now, it doesn't have his name on it. Who's to say? Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles into sniveling, talentless scientists in the past.
Is that legal? I feel like despite his involvement in this case, he needs to be tried for at least 20 different charges.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was...
An unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried about by misuse of the science?
Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Yes. Hey. Gets me every time. It looks so pretty. In HD and just the art direction. You know, Ace Attorney. It's really weird to look at a character from, say, like the first game in the series and compare them. It's like, is this even the same game universe anymore? I can't tell. Here, look, have a picture of Frank frickin' Side. Could you tell me that these are from the same game series? Just however many decades into the future? I couldn't tell you. This looks like, you know, some run-of-the-mill visual novel. No, he's the dude from Persona 4 that sells you stuff over the TV. Tanaka, over the airwaves to you. The only thing Frank Solid sells is lies! And sometimes newspapers.
I met the young professor approximately... Oh,
you know, I already read all this. Let me just, Hold it! Let me just really quickly go through everything. You were already acquainted with Mr. Asman himself.
not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous inventor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for.
So why did Mr. Asman approach you in particular, then?
Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering.
Or maybe because he has a nice butt. Because he's an ass man. Wait a minute! William Shatner missed stuff. Well, let me just take this opportunity to get everybody caught up to speed. Zero Master, thank you for the raid. Can we get a shout out for Zero Master? Lewdsome Neko raid. Well, don't be too lewd. This may be an 18+ stream, but it's a T-rated game. For just quick warning for anybody coming on in who may be new, I'm playing the second game in the Great Ace Attorney series. So, if you do not want spoilers for either the first Great Ace Attorney or the second, both included in that Chronicles, the game that came out, then feel free to jump on out. Otherwise, let me just spoil everything for everyone. Like, I'm serious about that. I don't want to take too long, so... We're in the middle of a trial trying to defend this scientist who is being arrested, or has been arrested, and is being tried for the murder of his investor, who volunteered to be part of a teleportation experiment. Unfortunately, it seems to have gone wrong. He sure teleported out, but when he teleported back in, he was dead. Now, there's probably a lot more. Our current argument is it's probably some sort of magic trick. Why else would there be a magician in the jury? And our goal today in court is trying to prove it. Yeah, welcome on in, Zero Master, Sora Kasai. How y'all doing? How was... Oh, speaking of Yakuza, you were playing Yakuza 0. Hope it was good. I do like the Yakuza series ever since I played 7. I will come back to 0 eventually, though. Tell me all about it. How was it? And if you don't want to, that's also okay. Not to mention excellence in fraud.
Calculating. Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprint I was given.
That's a lie, that's a lie, that's an outright lie. Why the heck you lying?
In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Hairbrain certainly has a mind like no other.
A brain, if you will. A hair brain. Okay, blueprints, huh? Now, for some reason, he can't present the blueprints to the court, huh? It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however.
The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle what comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think.
Oh good, you caught on. It's a possibility that we have to explore. I know he's lying, just gotta catch him in the act. I just don't know if I can catch him sweating. I ain't Apollo Justice. I'm not gonna look at his shirt and see sweaty pits, no. I don't even know if he's physically capable of sweating. How much robot is he? Probably not too much, actually. Zero Master beat up people as a succubus with your demon buddy. Only you know, as you do in Yakuza. Also, here's a tip for anybody raiding on in. If you got an ad, I recommend refreshing the stream. Because what usually happens is that ad will actually put you like 10 seconds to 30 seconds behind. So if you're trying to talk to me, it's like I have to wait 30 seconds for an answer, then you have to wait 30 seconds for an answer. It's not great. It's not a great experience for anybody.
Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there?
It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear.
Yeah, and whose fault is that? He even told us in court. Not in court. He basically told us yesterday he was responsible for the other bomb. All but saying it, though. And now that he hasn't said it in court, we can't prove that. He must have planned this all from the outset.
But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment could not have been a trick.
But here is the point which I want to press. I don't know if I have anything that proves he had a twin. Of course, that's it! Mr. Asman was a twin! No, Barok said he wasn't.
Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asman had no twin siblings.
No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me. I thought maybe you were lying, calling your bluff. I guess I went all in on that. The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled that out as a possibility.
It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact.
So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asman then. Hold on, let's not drop that too soon. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, no, nothing. Just that I really wish I could get that I could get that mask off of that wax dummy head. Just the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind. So basically, what they found out, what Scythe found out, was that the victim is undoubtedly Odie Assman. But let's turn that around. You know, turnabout, Gyakuten. The person on stage at the beginning maybe wasn't Assman to begin with, huh?
All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads.
It crashed head first, you say? Hey, wait, that's actually a lie. You look at the birdcage, it clearly landed ass first. Ass man from the cracks, because that's where the head goes. Head first, you say?
According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes.
Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day?
Zoop doop dop boop beep bop boo doop. Beep boo boo bop boo boo beep.
Beep boo boo bop boo boo beep?
No, I said beep, boo, boo, bop, boo, boo, bop.
Beep?
Bop.
Boo boo bop!
Pray, my learned friend, would you kindly refrain from beatboxing in the court?
I'm just trying to get the quote on the witness of testimony. Just making sure I understand him. You know what? I can't understand him.
Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop.
Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene. I don't know if we've proven that it belongs to him, though.
Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower.
What a surprise.
I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it?
How would you have come by that information?
Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body.
Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant. And he had broken vertebrae as a result of the fall from a considerable height.
Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems.
Oh! Broken vertebrae! Who's to say that didn't happen in the past? Do we know which injury was the fatal one?
Sadly not.
I have an idea. Wait, why did I put on the filter for Van Zeeks? He's a robot too! They're all robots!
Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined.
Limited by the technology of their time, huh?
What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment.
No. At some point, period. Mecha Zeeks, attack.
And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken,
It's obvious that he fell from a considerable height.
I suppose it's hard to deny. I'm gonna press this just to be complete, but I think I know what I'm gonna do. So you understood the science, did you?
Not in the slightest.
As an engineer, I feel that. Look, I just follow the acceptance criteria. I don't know what I'm building. Oh, right.
As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them.
He really is an engineer. We don't use our brains. We just apply our instincts.
I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example.
But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on? You even know what blueprints are, Naruhodo? That's the point.
Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you?
Oh, that might be the sickest burn in all of Ace Attorney. Very good point. Oh, so sad. Stand up for yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. I can't, he's right.
the point is the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound.
Yes, and really experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis.
Wait a minute. I actually meant to say, I didn't even introduce myself from the last raid. So hey look, I have an excuse to do it again. If you're coming in on a raid, my name is Chris. I like to play Nintendo games and or Japanese games with lots of text so I can do all the voice acting. If you didn't get that from what I've been doing for the past 5 minutes. So sit back, enjoy the show. Also, Nwiki, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a fun time with Hearthstone. Hearthstone! You know, I do like card games. More of a Magic the Gathering chicken, but, you know, Speaking of Capcom, did you guys know that they're making a Street Fighter Magic the Gathering crossover? Okay. Hasbro knows how to get my money. Oh, you doing, Wiki? How's your night been? Also, how's Dragon Quest X? Are you still playing it? He's certainly very sure of himself. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other. But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than genuine science, we'll have no grounds to which to demonstrate Hairbrain's innocence. Both Mr. Asman and this man in the stand. Say that 3 times fast. Trick the professor and use him. Both Mr. Asman and this man in the stand. They took advantage of his naivety and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. What do I like? Motorcycles on which to play the card games? Missed opportunity, by the way, with Konami. They could have partnered with Harley Davidson and built in dual discs into their motorcycles. Then you could really play card games on motorcycles and probably cause traffic. Not a good idea. Seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Trevor? Who hasn't Assman fiddled and diddled at this point? Drebber, but you know, he may just do that from beyond the grave. Nuiki says, night's been good, and still playing Dragon Quest. Great. They updated Hearthstone. Well, I hope it's a good update, and I hope you have a good rest of your night, too. Yeah. I gotta pick up, maybe not Hearthstone, but I wanna play more card games online, because, you know, it's kind of hard to play them in person right now. As much as I do like playing them. Let's see. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. What we're gonna do is, I want to argue against this, but I don't have the evidence on it right now. But, thankfully, I do have evidence that the birdcage did not, in fact, crash head first. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the Crystal Tower ourselves. Apprentice just vibing in the background. Monobagel, what's up? As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, had sustained damage in one particular spot. Despite all your rage, you can see I'm presenting this cage.
Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the Crystal Tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely.
I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top.
What are you saying?
That's the opposite of where they should be.
You sure the Odie Asman wasn't upside down? No, I can see the pillow. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the Crystal Tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were 2 birdcages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. There's a little bit of assumption there, but I'll take it.
Good gracious! Explain yourself, witness!
Don't call me Shirley.
Well,
He can sweat! Let's hope it doesn't short-circuit him.
If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection!
But multiple witness reports claim it fell head first.
The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous explosion.
You expected him to sweat oil. Maybe it's clear oil, you know, like mineral oil.
At an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Or maybe it's an essential oil. Essential for my argument, which is approximately 18 meters. Why is Drebber an N64 character? Because in my headcanon, he actually created a voice box for himself and implanted it into his own throat. That's just one of the many parts of him that's mechanical, clearly. Or, maybe he's just Bionic Commando.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration.
Don't forget defenestration. Is it defenestration if you get thrown into a window? I guess not. I guess that's refenestration, if anything.
Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
When they're part of your argument.
Objection!
When they're part of my argument, but not yours, apparently. But the victim's neck was broken!
Objection!
Bionic Commando rearmed. I love that game so much. It's a shame that the PS3 game wasn't as good or memorable. It bankrupted the studio even though it was brand new. Oh well, we'll always have rearmed, I guess. And rearmed too.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed.
Sounds to me like that's just a flaw in the design of the cage.
Riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra actually.
Excuse me? Does he have a theme song? We heard this last time, didn't we? I'm vibing though. Oh, this slaps.
Listen to the tick-tock.
I feel like if anybody would jam to this, it would be Lord Mail Strongheart. He just loves clocks, doesn't he? One vertebra. How do you know that? He wasn't quiet for long. Don't bully breakdancing Sephiroth. No, it's a term of endearment, his robot voice. He's like one part Stephen Hawking. I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zeeks. This witness is clearly a swindler and one who deceived a personal friend of his. If you're going to establish this deception, do it right. Sorry? I feel like that's the undertone here. Man, I just love when they slightly turn in their animations. Just giving the side eye. I should make that an emote. Somebody screenshot this.
Ah, yes, and there's one more point the defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates.
What?
It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Trevor, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
Of course, we must treat the matter scientifically, after all.
I nearly had him there. Couldn't screenshot. Oop. He's just doing the robot at this point. You see how his neck jiggles? When I was in elementary school, we had a school assembly where I guess the school faculty had hired a professional robot dancer man to come to the school and just dance for the school. I don't know, we had boring assemblies apparently. And I was just convinced that the dude dancing on stage doing the robot just like this was a real robot and he was about to explode at any second. So during the whole performance, I just had my fingers in my ears ready for it. Robots always explode! I watch TV! There is no situation in which they don't. And then after the show, he actually came to everybody's individual classroom and said no, yeah, I'm actually not a robot. Just wipe off the makeup off his face. Didn't you know? I felt lied to that day. Tell me robots aren't real and they don't dance? Tell you, maybe that's why I became an engineer, so I could program robots to actually dance. I didn't have a very fancy school district. Are we sure he's not entirely a robot and he's controlled by a little alien? I would love that twist and turn in Ace Attorney. He's really an alien.
The kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the bird cage to have fallen from.
And I think, yeah, it's just an amendment. So let's press that. Did I go to school or did I just wander up and down the walk of stars? Look, I had to do my learning somewhere. You think a chicken learns how to talk without a formal education? Technically, there are real dancing robots. There are now. There are now, at least. What do you mean? Boston Dynamics, that like big dog robot and all that stuff. We've made major strides in the field of robotics, that's for sure.
Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience.
Yes, there are a lot of witnesses who saw Mr. Asman on the experimentation stage, that's true. But did they see him walking and talking? And plus, it was high up.
And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere.
Do the thing, Julie.
That's basically what the assistant is doing right now.
No, don't put the scroll in my hand. I want my wine. No, you're still learning. The balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact on the tower was 30 feet up. The difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the birdcage fell.
And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Ergo, the victim himself must have been beamed from the stage to the sky above the crystal tower.
A trenchant scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
Oh, yes. It's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeted 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes. But as per the rule of Ace Attorney, if I get new testimony, it inherently is the flaw. Now, does the diagram show how tall this tower is? If this is 30 feet, we got him. Oh, we have this. Ha ha! I'm going to present this because there's clearly a hole. And if that's not it, then let's do a little more thinking.
Objection!
That last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence.
It is your task, counsel, to explain this somehow to the court, not the other way around.
Well, give me a chance, man. You already gave me a penalty. It just seems to jar, though, don't you think? To jar. To jar.
What I think is that this whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes.
Perhaps I need to reconsider this. Okay. So, I don't think I'm wrong. It must be this one then. Just show the tower itself, show that that's 30 feet. Because if we say... Oh yeah, because this diagram would show if from here to here is 30, then if this is proportional, then yeah, from here to here is also 30. Is that it?
Objection!
Gotta be.
Worst company understands the whole covering ear things. You did that. You felt that way when you had a fire drill. Woo! Isn't it funny how we learn all these fire drills and yet we're just all annoyed and calm when they're drilling? In the event of a real fire, we panic anyway. Oops. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. Judge doesn't even want to listen, man. I thought he was rational. What's wrong, Drebber? Chicken got your tongue? We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. Ouch. Just fell to the ground like... Hold on, let me make that louder. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet.
No! Really? No!
I want to see a mod for the PC version that replaces the judge's gavel with...
Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, my lord, of course.
You will indicate the place to which you were referring on the same diagram. The alternative location from which the birdcage could have possibly fallen the requisite 30 feet.
Right here.
Take that!
Obi-Wan, welcome to the stream. You worked for a judge at one point. Oh, you're in law, are you? Shot while on the bench? Is that legal? I've had jury duty like once in my life, and yeah, I guess that's the difference between how it works in Japan and here. The place I'm referring to is here.
But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with.
Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself. Insert Palpatine.
I will make it legal. Do it. Go on, counsel.
It turns out that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site.
I am the Senate.
When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. Ooh. Can't hide nothing from us. Oh, I forgot the sound effect. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assumed there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen at almost exactly the same distance. I am so smart. SMRT. Once again, my lord. This all points to the fact that it was not one birdcage, but two.
Two?
It's Tuesday in it.
Objection! My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design.
You know, I think my Baroque Zanzik's voice has reverted back to the way I had it in the first game. I kind of like it now. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion. Every time I look, it makes me laugh.
Good lord, the metal griddle on the griddle that formed the floor of the machine is undone.
Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Mr. Trevor! It was you who built the Kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the two birdcages that were used to carry out the deception. Now don't explode on us. Error. Whether a Professor Herrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters. A machine designed to take Mr. Assman's ass and lay the blame firmly at the professor's door. Something that could have only been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Trevor.
Objection!
Cover your ears, he's about to blow. Whoa! Calling it now. One of these days he's gonna miss and the entire glass just shatters from the sword. Weenie, welcome on in. You missed the investigation. Ah, it was such a great one too. I loved the theatrics. I'm just really sad I accidentally got the right answer at the end of the deduction. I said I was gonna go back to it, but accidentally saved over the last save file. So I still will, but it's not gonna be part of the VODs until, like, I don't know, probably next time I play Great Ace Attorney. Just opening it with a sword, the best way to open wine, huh?
If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions...
Just take a shot of wine every time I say ass on this stream.
The prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly, but surely.
Just hear the broken glass in his hand, just crunkling about like... Oh yeah, I got Foley.
Oh, yes.
Van Zeeks, are you okay? You're bleeding. Again.
Oh no, this is not blood. This is justice.
I think he's lost it, y'all.
Woo! The prosecution would like to crush that defense's argument slowly and surely.
Is this the second bottle? Yeah. He already got one cut open last time. What? He's drunk. Well, at least he's not as under the influence as Sholmes is all the time.
Your argument fails to hold water on 2 counts.
What could possibly be wrong? 2? Chew?
Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that. And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment. In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Well, there was... Well... See, that's why I contested Ryunosuke making that much of a leap. They didn't switch. They just assumed they were the same. But if I were to explain why, we wouldn't have needed to.
The nonsense with the crossbow? That doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same.
Oh, we're getting to this part now. This argument. I'm prepared. Are you prepared for how I shall wax and wane into this argument?
The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so.
Motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? Ryunosuke, welcome to your family curse for the rest of time. Everybody knows if you don't also simultaneously find the killer at the same time you prove your defendant innocent, it doesn't count. They get convicted anyway. It's like the judge just goes,
well, someone's going to jail. And it's not me.
Not me either.
Not me.
Fine, I guess it is my defendant. Oh, you know Maya could go to jail. What?
I have here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Van Zeeks? The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Aspen. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations. Remunerations from government grants or other income. 30%? Oh, certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
Van Zeeks was drunk. He couldn't pronounce that one word.
But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause.
What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. Ah!
In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void.
No, that's oddly suspicious. It's almost as if he crafted himself an alibi. No, it was never about the money. He really did just want to kill Asman.
So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime.
You know, now that he has an assistant, can I just make a wish for this game retroactively to the Capcom devs? I want them to do a double. I want them to do a complete double leg slam. But with two of them.
In short, the possibility of Mr. Dereba having done as you suggest is nil.
Oh. Look at him schmoving.
It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark.
Not yet, no!
Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
Doo-doo-doo. Oh. I hate it. Ooh. 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 It's true. Props to Judgment for not following that. Yeah, you know, I would expect most more accurate depictions of law to not require the defense attorney to prosecute the real killer. That just don't make no sense. That's not his job. No wonder Phoenix is so bad at it. Actually, he's just really good at it. Maybe he should have been a prosecutor, huh? If Trevor had no opportunity to switch the birdcage onto the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been. There's one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. Eh? There were two birdcages. The prosecution is unable to deny that. Ah. So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It is impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection!
No, no, no! How's your blood pressure, Van Zeeks? I hear alcohol ain't too good for that. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet we now know there must have been two. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. He looks so innocently surprised. He has never seen me in court. No way. Enter Susato with hope. No, no, no. Ryunosuke, I think he's finally... Well, yes, Susato provided a little bit of hope. But Ryunosuke is finally starting to learn to do it for himself. With Susato's help, of course. Yeah. Phoenix was too good at finding culprits. You know what? You're absolutely right. Without that, Apollo Justice wouldn't have happened. Mainline universe is problematic, not well thought out. I mean, in general, it's a mess. At any point after 3, it's just this whole internal struggle at Capcom with writers being like, I want to do this. No, Phoenix Wright has to be in it. But okay, well, I'll write him as a hobo. No! No, he's the main character for the next one. What? But then I have to reboot everything. Sure. I'm sad. I'm sad we never got the Apollo Justice trilogy we really deserved, you know? Apparently, like Wendy said before, there's been a whole backstory with Clavier and Kristoff that never really got revealed. And like, we could have gotten more development out of like Trucy, and maybe Athena wouldn't exist, but I do like Athena at least. And then Apollo wouldn't have to have like 500 excuses for him existing. Like, no, let Polly be himself, please. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. You like Hobo Nick? Yeah, I like Hobo Nick too. It's a shame he didn't stay around. Man, I like that old grizzled mentor type. He was cool like that. He looked like he knew what he was doing for once.
Get to the point.
Sorry, Van Zeeks. My point is, Hobo Nick is awesome and cool. Is awesome. This stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired. So if circumstances means it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice. Not where I thought where this was going.
Objection!
We'll get to wax later, I guess.
An accomplice now? Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come.
Oh, I probably have to present a person soon. Let me just think real quick. Who would be the accomplice? Who would help pretend to be Mr. Assman? I actually don't know. Oh yes, the Balloon Man, of course.
Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes, if these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
Maybe? What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice or even if he really is the culprit here. I mean, if you're standing on the witness stand, there's already a 50% chance you are. Just by Ace Attorney logic. One way or another, though I have to make my position clear as a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice? Or not? The way they're phrasing it, in Ace Attorney, you never back down. I just don't know if I could even name an accomplice if there was one. Now I feel more confident. That's not how libel and slander works. Well, I guess he's just using it colloquially. Yeah. The whole believing in your client thing, attorney doesn't cry until it's over. But wouldn't have been so overused. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, it was great for the first trilogy. I think what I want is I want Ace Attorney 5, 4, 5, and 6 to have really had their own identity. 6 is a step in the right direction after 5, but overall, it just puts 4 in a weird place. I do want to stream Apollo Justice at some point, though. It deserves a lot more love. It really does. They're too hammered in the newer games. In 5, I understand because they like dumbed it down to be a more reboot intro to the series. I just feel like they didn't need to do that. I feel like they should have gone whole ham into the universe and continued the story they had. I guess it's easier to see that in hindsight, but if, you know, I'll say that The Great Ace Attorney has been a good example of a good reboot. Not even a reboot, it's just a different story. This is how you let go of the past. Yeah, there's sprinklings of references, but hey, Ryunosuke is a character all his own. The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. I am? Somehow the two birdcages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. I could switch to story mode to find the answer. I'm not doing that anymore. I want the accolades. But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel.
My lord.
You received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name.
Oh, I just thought of where this has to go now. If Anybody could have helped pull this off.
So your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Trevor's accomplice?
I want to say it has to have been whoever stole the wax figure from Mr. Spells. But I don't know who that could have been. So maybe it was never actually stolen. But Spells might have actually just voluntarily given it to him to make this all work out.
Take that!
Who is this person?
Someone intimately related to the crime, my lord, and someone you surely wouldn't say you don't know.
Yes, thank you. I'm aware of the person, obviously. But on what basis do you claim felonious involvement?
I can't tell if this is wrong speech yet. Oh, good, it's a penalty. Oh, I've never been so happy to be wrong.
You surely wouldn't say you don't know, would you?
Ah! Oh! I'm sure you simply slipped and pointed to the wrong person, didn't you? There's no other explanation. All right.
No slip-ups this time, please, counsel. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Trevor's accomplice?
Clearly, Susato Mikotoba. You think it might be Sholmes? But he's a good guy, though. Unless... Sholmes is the only person... Now, I don't want to say it's him, but Sholmes is the only person to have claimed to have even spoken to the people who kidnapped the wax statue. Is it possible that was a lie? Possible. Okay, let's turn this around. I'm not putting Sholmes in. I'm not saying it's him. There's no way. Okay, so let's not think of who could possibly let's say it could be anybody. But if it's anybody, it has to be someone who could easily not clean up, but like hide this fact. Somebody whose interest it is to have like nobody else look at the crime scene. Because it only works if that Special Dispensation Act held. If nobody was allowed to look at the crime scene. So... No, he I can't think of a motive, but I guess... I can't think of anybody else, so...
Take that!
The name of the person in question is... Well, this is already different.
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend?
Your gut feeling is on the ass, dude? You're thinking that the accomplice who helped kill Mr. Assman is Mr. Assman?
You saying it's a suicide?
I mean, that also might... who knows? Maybe they both had it in it for Hairbrain. Maybe they both hated him for some reason, but this seems to be correct.
Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that.
Of course, I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. But the dialogue is different, so this is how I'm feeling right now. Wait a minute. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thank you, Miss Susato.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy.
Alright then. Here goes.
You kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, counsel, now.
The person who colluded with Mr. Trevor in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe. Because she can also easily cover up the claim. She's the one who made the claim that the ass man at the crime scene was one and the same. She's the only one who could fudge it all. See? Okay. Last time I'd said it's very suspicious that we get this new character involved in the police force only appearing just now. And I need to see where this goes. I actually want her to turn out to be something a little more complicated. But I didn't want it to be right away. Let's see if there's anything more. I mean, if they could bring back Magnus McGilded Cosmic Gundle to relevancy in the first game. Maybe.
What the blazes are you talking about? Dr. Scythe? The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who had conducted the autopsy on the victim?
We know there were 2 birdcages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensic investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand and wants to testify. The magician man is just calmly like, nothing up my sleeve.
You've got a nerve, lad! Bang, bang, bang!
No!
Standing up there, dragging the odd's name through the mud!
I didn't mean to!
I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there.
How dare you call her a criminal? My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night.
How wild is that?
Oh, pretty wild. You think I get drunk during the court? Nothing but drunkards out there. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A grave problem? Grave problem, I get it. Oh my word!
Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger?
What?
Doppelganger, it means body double.
I know that.
Sorry, it's not an English word I thought you might not know.
Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained the body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone even remotely resembling the victim have been reported.
Scythe? Sounds like Sykes. Well, you hear it's pronounced as Sith. Oh, think about that actually. Off stream, I did actually look up what Scythe's Japanese name was, just for see if it was any clue. And her Japanese name was straight up just Scythe, like the tool. So yeah, it's really supposed to be Scythe, the Scythe to Vanzix's Reaper. So that's actually pretty cool. It's pretty subtle. I like that a serious character got a punny name and yet it's done well. Pretty good. Athena Sykes. Courtney Scythe. Yeah, Goku, Windy does know that. Worst Company says you feel like Apollo wasn't accepted as a new protagonist and now Capcom's trying to roll it back. Basically, Metal Gear Raiden as a cyborg. You know, when you see him in Ace Attorney 5 and 6, somehow they do it more than once. Yeah, I absolutely get that feeling from him. The way they just backpedaled so hard on Apollo. I can't help but feel sorry for the man.
Means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman.
That's true! If my argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must have also been one person inside each. But I don't know if I've ever got an answer to this yet, have I? You do! What can I do to reveal how this body double stuff was achieved? I think I can present evidence. I think. I think it's the broken glass, because the broken glass links the crystal tower to the wax figure. I think. Present evidence. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asman's body double.
Good gracious! Evidence! I do hope this isn't filibustering.
Don't worry, I don't intend to become a politician anytime soon.
Counsel, the court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means any witnesses would have only seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it appeared out of the explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double inside the second birdcage was... Oh, wait, hold on, wait. I can't present glass now. Hold on. The waxwork head? I'm gonna present the head because it was inside the model balloon.
Take that!
We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the crystal tower.
Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact... It's all right, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this. Look at this progression and how Susato assists us. It's less like, hey, here's this obscure rule. Hey, don't give up. No, we're past that. We're long past that. It's, Naruhodo, you've done this before. Take a deep breath. You're ready. Just steel yourself and come out with it. Thank you, Miss Susato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was... As unbelievable as it may seem, why is this in court? I don't remember dragging this in. Is there always just a little pile of evidence in the corner? As unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there! I like the idea that in every Ace Attorney game, there's just a pile of all the evidence in the corner. When did we drag this in?
Objection!
What are you objecting to? What?
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend.
They're open.
Now tell me, what are you playing at?
Oh, I like that it's on a little cart, too. Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago. The Professor.
Objection! You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you've moved on to indicting waxworks.
You know, maybe actually it is Sith. If anybody could look up the katakana that make up her name, I could have a better idea, because now I'm not too sure of what I saw when I looked it up. I saw people referring to her as Scythe, but that was Romanized. It may have been people misinterpreting the katakana. Yes, that's about the size of it. Lila Payne, how you doing? Welcome on in. Look, there's a wax figure on display. Don't be afraid, it's not Frankenstein, it's evidence.
But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give?
It was 30 feet up? Yeah. We could have a similar discussion about Metal Gear. What if? We could do a whole Marvel what if about this. What if people had a better reception to Apollo? Or a better reception to Raiden, huh? That's something I do think about a lot. I'm glad that we ended up getting Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I guess it might be a fitting, not end, but last chronological entry in Metal Gear. Because it does take place after Metal Gear Solid 4. As far as Ace Attorney, it's shaky. I think we're in a pretty good spot to continue, though, from here, at least. If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber.
What?
Just days before Professor Hairbrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Taspel's.
Did you say abducted?
And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum.
Then the timing...
Would have been after the investigation. Also, how you doing if you're just coming on in, Lilu Payne? Anybody else? Hope you're having a nice night so far. I think we're gonna finish this trial today. I don't see any more room for Drebber to weasel his way out of this one. We're catching him.
Is this true, Mr. Drebber?
What if Phoenix Wright was an Avenger? I mean, he's fought alongside them in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Anything is possible. At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Assman. The Avengers lawyer, maybe?
Objection!
I don't know the comics, but isn't She-Hulk a lawyer? If anything, I think it'd be her.
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim.
Daredevil's also a lawyer? Oh yeah! I haven't watched the series. You know, in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, if you have Phoenix Wright fight a team with She-Hulk on it, they actually open up like as if it's a court proceeding. I forget what exactly she says, but it's like, yes, the prosecution would like to call a witness. It's also fun when like you have Phoenix Wright versus Phoenix, the X-Men character.
Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Who knows? We can't decide now. No way. Oh no. Oh no. Ryunosuke's really feeling the stress. He's gone back to slaps. He's gone back to... Ooh, I have a clip right here.
Miss Walters, your witness.
Ha ha ha.
Soon the defense will rest, her fist upon your face.
Ooh, that doesn't quite make sense because Phoenix is also defense. I'm sure everybody's left ear really loved that. Miss Walters, your witness. The fence will rest, her fist upon your face. Pretty good, I like it. It's something they would actually say, I bet. Wait! Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible.
My lord.
My lord, I need to speak, if you please.
In the art book, the katakana is Koto ni shisu. Oh, okay, so it is Seath. Seath. Shisu. So, okay, I'm guessing that's a pun on death. Because she... Alright, okay. Either way, that doesn't quite translate to either Sith or Scythe. It's more like Seath. So if it accidentally became Scythe, that's actually just a wonderful happenstance. Okay. I don't want to call her Sith. I don't want to do it. She ain't no dark side. Maybe, maybe not.
Go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement.
No. No. No.
Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
We can't end yet. You haven't said order yet. You have to say order. Oh.
Guilty.
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 Guilty!
Kill me.
Gilby? I like the magician. He sounds a little Italian. Like seethe? Yeah, something like that. She doesn't sound too angry. She seems rather calm, all things considered. So, thank you for looking it up, y'all.
So, as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus.
I knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual. As usual, it shouldn't be usual. And see if I can persuade them to change their minds. This has got to be badgering. Whoa. Thanks for the chickens. I guess we're chickening the witnesses. I mean, the jury.
The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime on which... Oh! Who do I incarcerate for this? Bailiff! Bailiff! Grab the chicken net! I'm being overrun! Ah! No, actually, this doesn't feel too bad. Kind of tickles. Oh, it's over. Of the crime which he is charged.
Oh, I forgot how dramatic this part is. The jurors' contentions.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never be an accomplice to anything. It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another.
Oh, look, he's got the paper.
Oh dear, this is most troubling. Even more chickens.
All right, y'all. That's enough of that.
But surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
I've had my own problems with members of the chickens and of the police. I do not trust them much. Oh. How topical.
I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture.
You guys are really redeeming right now. You guys are really awake. At least I hope now. Welcome on in, everybody. Hope you had a good nap.
Accusing someone without right evidences? It's not a proper job, is it? I won't have it.
You're on a roll.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork mortal to the proceedings has polarized opinion. Given that its face is obscured and its build no way resembles that of the victim. Kayati Chow, thank you for the raid. Can we get a shout out for Kayati Chow? How are you doing today? Hello, my name is Prosecutor Van Zeeks. Aren't I a sexy, sexy man? Would you like some wine? I have some wine.
Thanks for the raid. How was Neo Tweewee? Heck yeah, world ends with you. We do love a JRPG, that we do. You have fun, you have a fun time. Y'all go check out Kayati Chow. She does like to play a good RPG or a JRPG or two. And she's been playing Neo Worlds with you, along with some other things, some Zelda here and there. And you know, a good time to hang out with. Very chaotic energy. Hope you're doing well. Game's gonna give you carpal tunnel. Oh, well, I guess it wouldn't be a World Ends With You game without the carpal tunnel. I seem to remember the first game did that a lot on the DS. Welcome on in, everybody. If you guys don't want spoilers for Great Ace Attorney, feel free to drop on out, but welcome on in. My name is Chris. I play these kinds of games. Nintendo games, RPGs, visual novels, that kind of stuff. So sit back and enjoy the show. You think the carpal tunnel's worse in the new game? Oh, I am so sorry. Yeah, definitely get a wrist brace or something. That doesn't sound too good. Here, maybe drink some wine. It'll ease the pain. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. We're in the middle of a court case involving a mad scientist and potential magic trickery involved. Involving a body double wax statue, maybe. Your poor fingies. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, by all means, relax.
I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it was as Mr. Asman's body double.
Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary, but that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes. You'll be back and let your dog out. Have a good dog. Have a good dog. See ya, Chaotic. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model. 'Cause, the face? Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced. It's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. But if that's the case, you must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this.
If you are ready, Counsel, you may proceed with the Summation Examination.
Yes, my lord. So since we're just congealing, we're just dealing with the jury for now. Look, oh yeah, he's really just vibing back there, isn't he? Don't worry, you'll get yours. You'll get yours soon enough. Just listen to his little hand. His little hand just going like... I have one sound effect. No, here's a PlayStation 2 controller. It just goes like...
I've known that woman for years.
Utter nonsense. I've played this game series enough now that anything that's like a personal argument, I'm not really going to press right away. I mean, I'm curious why juror number 3 doesn't trust the police though. Drebber design is cool. It is though. He's got a gyromatic steampunk hand. Steampunk is a great aesthetic overall. I'm surprised it hasn't been used as much in these two games. Like, Gina has a steampunk gun. Iris has sort of a steampunk inventor thing going on, along with Sholmes. But outside of them, that's about it. So I'm glad to see more of it anytime. What sort of problems? If this was Tulip, I'd be a single kiss from victory. Thank you, Fractured Scanlines. Also, how's it going?
Let's just say when we have run into each other on numerous occasions, while I've been performing on the street.
Right, I see.
Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences. So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners and the like.
Street magician, huh? All right, David Blaine, show me what you got.
But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult.
And of course, the police officer. Be careful with that. Why is it these two games are very, very haphazard with guns? Because guns are a very foreign thing to Japan, probably. And I bet, like, when the writers were going like, all right, what's different between the Eastern world and Western world? Guns. Lots and lots of guns. Of course, the police officer has trouble with that statement. Let's pursue this. Excuse me. You're reminded of the Steampunk DLC case in Spirit of Justice. Oh yeah, that was a cool time. Ha, get it, time. Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Automole?
Who you calling a mass murderer?
Sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you looked like him. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to know their name. I mean, juror number 6.
I don't look anything like the man. Do you want to be locked up, Shaddy?
Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. I've been hanging around him too much. Perhaps we could move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do.
Back in my day, back in the good old days.
Does this man have a neck? Kind of just looks like his face just goes straight down into his collar. Actually, no, his collar does have a little bit of a neck shape to it.
It wasn't like this.
What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
Respected you?
No one would have called a coroner into question in them days. A coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. She was the best of the best, and the apple of the force's eye.
Hold it. Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens? Stevens? Oh, she got married. Yeah, because, okay. And then she has a child. Okay, that actually makes sense. Courtney Stevens. Courtney Scythe. Tell me we just pit the jurors against each other. That's the whole point of the segment, Worst Company, if you haven't seen it before. And I love it.
Sorry. Got a bit carried away there.
Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name.
Her maiden name? So that was before she was married. Married. Quick poll for the chat. Do you say Mary, marry, or Mary? Let me just say that again. Do you pronounce it Mary, marry, or Mary? And I would like to reduce confusion, spell it like M-E-R-R-Y, M-A-R-Y, or M-A-R-R-Y.
Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it?
Winnie says Mary. I'm from California, so I say Mary. But I know it's spelled with an A, so it's one of those words that is very different, depending on the region you're from. Stevens, huh? I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Have I? Stevens. I don't know.
Anyway, the point is, there was one of the great days of policing. Not like now.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it wouldn't. Not that one. Was it this? Oh, she did the autopsy last time too. Courtney Stevens. Sorry to interrupt, sir. What do you think you could change your statement to include that name?
Well, yes, I don't see why not.
She does have reason to lie. That's not public knowledge. Legendary coroner, even then. Okay, so that alone isn't a contradiction, but here we go. Hold it! This is what we do. We have the jurors reveal a little bit more information and then eventually find a contradiction between two of them. It's a really cool way to flip around the usual way we cross-examine. It's really cool. I wish it would make its way back to regular Ace Attorney. We're only just starting to understand this case. Originally Courtney Simons, don't know why they changed it. I don't know either. Simon, Steven, they're pretty similar. Simons was already a perfectly fine name. What are you reading there, sir?
The man behind these murders on Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you.
That's really not relevant to this case, is it?
You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Scythe in charge of examining the bodies. And it was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible.
Oh.
That's right. Oh, that woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. Mr. Potter. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh.
I felt it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around. We could have it in the main games by coming back to Europe. Oh goodness. Every Ace Attorney from now on takes place in a different country. Last game we had the Kingdom of Kurain. Now we're going back to Europe. Unspecified European country. I love it. So probably a little confusing. And then it'll just cut back to Athena holding the fort in the Americas, quote unquote, every single time. I don't know. They already did that once. Europe could be a new spin on it, but I'll say that Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright was very lucky that it took place in England, so that they could just avoid the idea of where Phoenix Wright comes from altogether. Yeah, our flight from Los Angeles, Japan. I'm so glad that we were able to catch a flight out to England.
Oh dear, this is most troubling.
Why would you assume that?
Well, simply because that unsettling swindler has no relationship with the woman, does he?
True, as it stands, we don't know of any connection. I want to know what the professor's real name is. I guess it's Asman. But what if that's a fake name?
Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork.
Romantic?
A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know.
Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to.
One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner Roman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just there.
This woman may be more astute than I've been giving her credit for. I mean, yes, there is a relationship between the prosecutor and the defendant. They were college buddies.
If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough.
Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of a connection, sniff sniff, she'll be the first to know. Did I know the thing that started the Japan-California thing was the time zone puzzle in the first game? Yeah. Absolutely, because of the whole Paris-California thing. Used to be, was it America, Japan? Or was it, like, also a place in Europe and Japan? I forget exactly. But it's funny how such rippling effects. We could have another Marvel What If. What if they just admitted that Phoenix Wright takes place in Japan? I think a part of that is because the DS marketed a lot to casual gamers. So they didn't want to alienate people by having a video game that doesn't take place in America. Funny how we're far, far from the DS era. So Capcom doesn't really have to do that anymore. But because the series is now rooted in it, it's hard to go back. I personally would have accepted a retcon at this point. I feel like a lot of fans of Ace Attorney at this point who are still playing these games, they probably likely understand the history of the localization of this game. That might be a personal bias of mine, so I'd like to see stats. I'd like to see like a big old poll from Capcom go out to everybody who knows Ace Attorney ever and see what the distribution is. I've had my own problems with... Oh, I already pressed this guy. Gertrude is pretty. She is. She looks very well-to-do. Not to mention that dress. Very opulent. This case has many new pretty ladies. This game has many new pretty ladies, if we're being completely honest. Alright, Doc Brown.
Hold it!
Localizers thought that Westerners would know the time difference between Paris to LA more than New York and Japan. Okay, that's probably also a big part of it. There's plenty of ways to solve that problem. I guess making it California was one way. If you could turn back time, if you could find a way. Would you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick?
That I did. But there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Sorry?
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there would have been no need to use a real person.
But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
Oh, I've got evidence, at least. I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from the fellow of the Royal Society, but that means perhaps his mind can be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence? Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Huh. Can I produce that? I have evidence. I have nothing. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats.
Shall I bleach my clothing?
Given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
You don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror might be very trying. What, you don't trust the men in black? I hear they fight aliens. Here come the men in black. Love that frickin' movie. So much. Piece of broken glass.
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass? Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. Queen Miku, 9 months, we have a Twitch baby. Congratulations. Welcome back to the chicken coop. Grab a nest, get comfy, and enjoy the emotes. How you doing, Miku? Yeah. That one juror noticed the way Albert talked to Baroque was more casual. Ah! You know, that's a good point. Very observant. A piece of broken glass. It's a baby. It's a boy. What do we name it? Ryunosuke? As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The Crystal Tower? Holy smoke!
Sir, I will ask you to refrain from performing science experiments on the jury stand. The jury stand on the bench? Exactly. The centerpiece of the great exhibition where the very incident we're talking about took place. Dick. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass. He was refenestrated.
From whence this small piece originated? Is that it?
Precisely. Sir, what do you say? Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you?
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it.
It should never come into it.
In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter. Marty! Marty! In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please.
Miku's doing good. Had some pizza for dinner. Oh man, everyone's eating pizza these days. Must be a pizza month. I have not eaten pizza in forever. I had some Oaxacan pizza, which was basically a giant tostada with beans and beef and pork. It was really delicious. Is it a pizza though? Hard to say. Presents the glass, doubt the waxwork is seen inside the birdcage. So we have this. It proves that the wax was indeed inside the birdcage. So if anybody's doubting the switcheroo took place, it might be juror number 2, but she's doubting that the waxwork has anything to do with the coroner, not that the waxwork has anything to do with the magic trick. Let me just cover my bases and press corn girl.
Hold it!
You guys want some corn? Yeah. You got free pizza. Oh, nice. Pizza's even better when it's free. Want some margarita or white pizza? Favorite pizza? Question for the chat. You know, I've asked this before, but you know, it bears repeating. There's some people who have not been around since the last time I asked. I actually like a good spinach mushroom with white sauce and chicken. I don't know, it comes together like, almost like a salad, but not healthy tasting, more like herbal tasting. Almost like a chicken bake from Costco, now that I think about it. I've got to ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you?
Colonel Cobb, he's been growing back on the farm. Picked him off on the way to town. He's a proper nibbler, he is.
Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe you could wait until after the trial?
Oh, I don't like the sound of that. You need colonels at times like these.
Colonel.
Colonel. Colonel.
Because corn kernels.
Whenever I'm summoned picked to the side, the colonels always point me in the right direction, see?
You're talking about your cob of corn? You like everything but onions on pizza. Even anchovies? Even, pineapple? Even broccoli? I have had anchovies on pizza, but they're just so... Oh.
Nibble, nibble, guilty, bubble, nibble, nibble, not guilty out. Nibble, 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 nibble.
Baked ziti. Oh, I love baked ziti. Also, what's up, Miss Wine Rib? Welcome to Pizza Talk.
Perhaps it's akin to fortune telling with flower petals like people do back home.
Guilty. Guilty's me not. Guilty. Guilty's me not. So Professor Hairbrain's fate is to be decided by a cob of corn? Child juror, clearly not reliable. Someone, like... Can we get, like, a proper citizen, please? I mean, I'm sure she is a citizen, but still... Could you not at least wait until we had more time to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt? Pickles on pizza? I've heard of it before. I've never had it, though.
Oh, I don't know about that. My tum's awful full already.
Amazing. Supreme pizza or Hawaiian? Supreme's pretty good. I like the combo pizzas from Costco. Are those Supreme? I think they are. It's a far-fetched to think that the waxwork model was in the birdcage. On the other hand, it explains a lot. There's a reason why it used to be Asman's double. There's a key to this. Okay. I should see what additional information. Well, I have pressed everyone.
You can read a book whilst eating a rice cracker, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sure you can do this.
Right. Ooh, I wish I had a senbei right about now. I'm gonna save first. I've got 3 penalties left. Wine Rib is later than you should be. Hey, as long as you enjoy the show, huh? Let the dulcet tones lull you to sleep. Okay. I have a little bit of problem with juror number 3 because I pressed him before I should have, probably. So let me see what happens if I press him, and then the police officer is gonna have an issue. But actually, let's see what happens if I let his dialogue go through. Oh no, he doesn't have an issue anymore. Okay. I might have to pit juror number 4 against juror number 5? Because I do have evidence now. So maybe that convinces her. What do you think, chat? Do any of these jurors' statements as they are now directly contradict each other, you think? The other thing I can think of is juror number 2 versus juror number 4. Hey, wait, where's the old man statement? There's a pizza you got from Papa John's. Supposed to be burger pizza? Just ground beef and pickles. Ew. You know, I don't even... Oh, they did 6 first, that's why. You know, I'm gonna go juror number 4 and 5.
Hit!
Objection!
Oh, it was right! Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. Maybe it wasn't.
2 statements due from counsel.
Let's get down your corn for a moment, juror number 5. Like a typewriter.
Oh, it can be me.
Oh my god, the animation! I never tire of it. All the budget. all the budget just going into this one walking scene. Hey! Hey, Kazuma! Look at this sword, doesn't it look familiar? Karuma? Don't you remember it? You pointed out it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. We're pacing, we're deducing. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't.
If I could interject here.
Please do, sir.
Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, I'm seeing some serious shit. Your argument's going at 88 miles per hour. It would be wrong of me as a man of science not to pursue the matter further. Not guilty.
Oh, well, me too then.
Sorry?
If this brainy gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears.
She uses the corn. You know what would have made that perfect? If she grilled the corn a little bit on the fire. And then it started popping, so we got popcorn. Success! If you can call it that. Hey, we just need a few more.
Of course he's got
Okay,
some of the cob of corn in it. Lovely job.
possibility's been established recently and logically. Now warrants further research. Let's press it some more. No, I can't. So I guess I just can't do anything with the ones who've already been convinced, huh? Okay. So I think the other thing is that now that we know Courtney Stevens' original name, we can link it to the original autopsy report. So the waxwork is nothing to do with the coroner. No, actually, there is a connection.
Objection!
Yeah, baby, 2 in a row. These two statements clearly contradict.
What?
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Oh, okay. Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer?
So, juror number 2.
Oh, gosh me. What can I do for you?
More pacing. I presume that you've heard what juror number 6 said in his statement? It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But, oh, golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean.
Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook that last remark. I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer known as the Professor. I'm about to pull what is called a gamer move. I'm not presenting a second autopsy report. In fact, I'm presenting the first one.
Take that!
I've here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does it have? It's from the last century.
Last century. I almost said last millennium. It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor. Can you see the Professor's head in there? I think there is a head in there, actually. Oh, you know, there's gonna be a big reveal. I'll unlock the cage and it just falls off. Hashtag gamer moment. You regret saying that. I'm sorry. Evidence is there. And I will so kindly submit it to the court record. Raper.
The professor's, but the man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. This is certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens! Oh.
Striker lied!
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Asman, at all. As far as we know.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the Professor case is at the heart of a curare that we have yet to uncover. Between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary.
Just like one of her novels. Just wait until she is revealed to be a famous author of some sort. Oh yeah, maybe she's Mary Shelley. Yeah, no, I think... What? I don't think so.
We're surely obliged now to explore this further.
Mary Shelley was born in 1797. She'd be very old if that was her.
Right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best coroner. It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice to the end.
Bada boom! Time to tip the scales.
Thank you, Counsel. That will do.
Nobody's even surprised anymore. That's just what I do. I grab victory from the claws of defeat. Let's make sure we don't grab defeat from the claws of victory.
As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now called guilty, against 4 who called not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. And the trial must continue.
We did it!
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory.
Who invited the Charlie Brown adults?
A waxwork of the despicable professor. Used as a body double of the victim in this quite extraordinary case.
Ever since we went to a wax museum, I absolutely expected this. Finally. Shakespeare no more. Goodbye, William Shakespeare.
I must say it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true.
Zatu's adorable. You can say that again. So optimistic and supportive.
However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation.
Don't tell me. I don't want another Dave investigation. We're done. Just put Drebber behind bars. I'm sure it makes sense. It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link.
I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't.
The truth, sir. By using evidence and testimony.
Huh. If the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. The owner?
Oh, Tuspel, she's about to definitely testify.
Madame Tuspels.
Also, I was wondering because the game in the dialogue doesn't really ever say Esmeralda Tuspel's full name, but it is through the profiles that we at least know. Look at she. Look at that wink. Look at her. Just look at her. She looks like she could be a Guilty Gear character.
Madame Tuspels.
I really thought that Lord Van Zix would object to this whole line of inquiry. Oh, no.
Very well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Spell to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my learned friend.
Yes. Yes? She did say her first name the first time we met. Aw, man. I guess my memory's just that bad. I must not have paid enough attention. Sometimes, because I get so caught up in doing the voice acting for these games, I don't actually realize what I'm saying. I just read it out loud while I read chat. And I've learned to do that less. It was a big problem when I played the first game, though.
You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
Hey, I played Persona 5 Strikers. That's a good thing. It happens.
The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon a new witness and prepare her for taking the stand.
It almost looked like he was gonna knock over that bottle.
Madame Tespales, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord.
To be continued. So we're at a bit of a problem here. I've said at the beginning of the stream I don't want to go on too long. But at the same time, I want to finish this case because this is the last Great Ace Attorney stream for tonight. So I'm going to, as much as possible, try to get this done in the last hour that we have. Think we can do it? Maybe. We're now officially in trying to do the right thing on purpose mode. As much as I love all the dialogue. It's gonna be a long trial. Well, let's just say this. I'll try to see where I get to after an hour. And please understand, I actually need to be up very early tomorrow. So I really cannot stream for a long time today. 24th October, 11:53 a.m., Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Ah, the Knight Errant himself.
What am I, a Dragon Quest monster? Oh, have you been watching for the gallery, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh, yes, I was shooting you on. Didn't you hear me? I was going... That is how I cheer. I've been on the edge of my seat this entire time. Although they did not have a full-sized chair for me, they gave me a children's chair. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least.
Could finish tomorrow? No, I'm not streaming tomorrow. I've already said why. Tomorrow's not a stream day. I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself.
I have to ask, what on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What is this professor business all about?
This is the point of an Ace Attorney trial where we're far removed from the original case. And now the defendant's just sitting here like, does this have anything to do with me? It does, Hairbrain. We're getting to that. Anytime you go 10 years ago, it essentially means we're now solving the case from 10 years ago instead of this one.
He doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he?
He doesn't look a thing like Jesus. Of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago.
Yes, the professor.
Meanwhile, I've seen Persona 1. Opening Pandora's box is a bad thing. Fair enough. Victory from the claws of defeat is this series. You know, turnabout. True. Defeat from the claws of victory. It's like face planting when you're 20 inches away from the end of first place in a marathon. Pretty much. I'll just say, it has happened. It has happened.
When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me.
Wendy's cooking. No problem, Wendy. I'll just not be too concerned about where we land. The stream happens. Just know that I won't be stopping playing this game anytime soon, in general. If we don't finish it now, we'll finish it next week.
Who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies.
Sleep time for Miku. Have a good night, Miku. As it turns out, Lord Van Zieks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realized, isn't he? Oh? Lord Van Zieks is even more intimate, you say? just screenshot this right here. Lord Van Zieks is even more intimate than any of us realized, isn't he? Oh my. Oh boy, I love it when we go from let's go to Gourd Lake to
The case from 15 years ago. Yada yogi!
yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock.
And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee the kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man.
You make it sound deliberate. I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling.
Oh yes, in what particular manner?
You missed a kick to the teeth? You did, Carmen. I'm sorry. But it's okay. We're kicking the prosecutor in the teeth. Which means, it's one of the magic, masked hero kicks that just turn the villain over to the good side. Yeah, how you doing, Carmen? How was your, PSP game? I forget the name of it every time. It has a really, like, complex name. But it apparently has bizarro dimensions. Well, there's Mr. Trevor, Dr. Scythe, and Lord Van Zieks. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow. In true Ace Attorney fashion. Yes, in fact, I alone am not a member of the set. Though that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Haha. Science jokes. Excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, hi, Dr. Scythe. I didn't mean to implicate you as a accomplice or anything. Oh. Dr. Scythe! I kid you not, John.
Ah, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
Nay, Stevens. Nay. That's when you're saying like their maiden name, right? I mean, clearly.
Good day to you.
Squidgy Bump couldn't sleep. Oh, I'm sorry, Squidgy. I'll try to voice act in a more ASMR fashion from here on out. How about that? Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you.
What in particular, pray?
You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you?
Why would you assume such a thing?
He's not looking her in the eye. Because Gregson told me.
Well, damn.
To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel. I smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant. Gregson couldn't keep his mouth shut. How else could he eat his fish and chips? Kamen Rider's game crashed and you died and autosave corrupted? No! I hate when that happens. When I emulate a game for stream, do I ever do that? I always use real hardware. What do you mean? Even if I try to only use the in-game saves, I always save state. Just because of crap like that. It made me redo one of the dungeons in Majora's Mask. Van Zieks was already intimate with the defendant from the start. Of course, yes. Actually, it's hard to tell because Van Zieks is very cold in general, but yeah, every bit of his dialogue, you can tell how much love he has for his old best friend, even to this day, even if he's trying to get him found guilty. It must be real hard for Van Zieks. A policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Scythe, and I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened. Oh, you don't like that? I mean, I was kidding! We're joking here! Of course! That certainly won't be possible. Eh? Lord Van Zieks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it. Oh! That's usually because Strongheart... It's usually because the dude up top knows it would lead her to being implicated.
Lord Strongheart? The Pandora's box you were warned about is the Professor case, but please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me.
But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice!
I've always fought crime the way that I see fit. I have no regrets. None at all. And that's all I came here to say.
You know, you notice that her lapel badge kinda... It's not the same, but it's also kind of a plus in the way that Drebber's badge is also like a plus. Probably not related, actually.
So, good day to you.
I said good day! This case is long. Welcome to Ace Attorney.
She mentioned it too. This Pandora's box.
Whatever does it all mean?
There's really no cause for concern. I assure you, when the trial resumes, the meaning will become all too apparent, whether you like it to or not.
Huh?
Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits.
I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Ah, yes, one word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trial this afternoon I fall off of my seat, I'm suing you for damages to my spine. Sorry, Naruhodo, money's tight, and I would like to make sure we have a place to live. I'll live in my flat after paying rent, and you'll live in the jail. Good deal, right? If in the course of the trial this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone, like a hound of the Baskerville. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter. What may come to pass.
That's surprisingly touching advice. Jones, you off your drugs? Or are you on too many drugs?
All right, I understand. Thank you.
Good. I shall make myself scarce then.
Sholmes, what are you doing?
I said I shall make myself scarce. Oh, I purchased a bar of caramel earlier.
Whoa!
So I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away at the truth.
Dude got his own brand deal? Sholmes is caramel.
Caramel?
Do they say caramel in Britain or do they say caramel? Dude, look, it's got his silhouette on the side. Oh, this is awesome. I would love this in real life. Think Sholmes is doing a long con? Oh, you know. He always knows more than he lets on. Alright,
I shall be eating this caramel.
What? Where did Sholmes go? He just vanished. What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially the bit about whatever may come to pass.
It's time for the final chapter then. They say caramel.
Alright, I'll do caramel.
I'm determined to find the truth. No matter what.
Did they talk about caramels at the last game? I forget. If that was a plot point. Either way, I'm hungry. 24th October, 12:40 p.m., Old Bailey. It's just out there in the middle of the room like a Halloween decoration. Actually, you know what? I'm just now remembering that the last time I had jury duty, it actually was October or November. Either way, it was close to Halloween time. So the courtroom actually had like little pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns in it as decorations. I'm like, is that professional? I mean, it looks cute. Just tiny little pumpkins on the judge's desk. Let me just simulate this. You know, just one of these little like, oh god, that's big. Here you go. Just a tiny little pumpkin, just like right there. A little tiny non-transparent pumpkin, of course.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to and able to continue?
He's got some pumpkin too. He's got a pumpkin wine, you know?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
October 24th. I'm guessing that's your birthday.
Yes, my lord. The defense is also ready.
Spooky court. 5th case in the last game. Ah, it does ring a bell.
As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition.
Yet we now found ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. Gold D. Roger. Before they hung him from the gallows, he said,
I left everything I own in one piece. And whoever finds it shall be king of the pirates.
Gaio, Gaio! Sholmes used the soft caramel to make a mold of the music box. Oh, yeah! Yeah, he did do that! Sneaky, sneaky man. I really want to go play the first game again. I should have. I had time, but I didn't have time.
This trial has certainly defied our expectation.
As seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord.
Well, you too. Think about that.
So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was currently involved in this matter.
Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord?
are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuspels?
Not at all. She's in the antechamber as we speak and ready to be summoned.
I was hoping I'd see her during the break. You know, just see her.
Very well. Bring in the witness.
At once, my lord. Bailiff! Show Madame Tuspels to the stand.
Things are about to become a lot more intense. Intense like my eyes! If Trevor's responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Scythe. And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork. More specifically, the professor. Yes, and the model of the professor. That's the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. You too.
I had other trials besides you.
Well, I mean, in recent times. Sorry, Van Zeeks. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present, it's all we have to go on. Whoa! Nice bust of Sherlock Herlock. Is it still a bust if it's like the neck up and not like, was it the clavicle up? I'm not sure what the technical definition is when you carve something like that. And I guess I never really thought too hard about the fact that wax figures are carved. In my mind, I always thought they were molded. But you know what? It makes sense, actually. It makes more sense to be carved.
State your name and occupation for the court, please.
It's like chiseling marble, but if you mess up, you can just put more wax on. My name is Madame Esmeralda Tuspels. I am a waxwork artisan and the proprietress of the Madame Tuspels Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon. Finally, Sholmes is getting replaced with an actual wax figure. In before, it's still Sholmes acting as a figure. Oh, ow, oh, my face, oh, ah. Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are two of them in the world. Oh my, what expression is he carving onto that face? You can't stop looking.
A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this?
Oui, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped.
A waxwork model kidnapped?
Yes, my lord.
There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I've just been told outside of the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim.
At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Assman.
But of course, I know him well. He is a part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all.
Ah, damn. I'm just going off of the assumption that Madame Tuspel carved the face underneath the professor mask, but also, like, she wouldn't have any knowledge of what the professor really looks like, so why would it even look like him under there? But maybe. Yes, but perhaps the faces are very similar. Or because it's wax, you could just make it look like whoever you want.
Are you suggesting that we should now see the masked visage of the professor?
Oh, wait a minute.
I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock.
This is absurd.
Pardon? Pardonnez-moi?
I don't know what face you carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed. The man's identity was never made public after all.
The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information.
Or could it? Could it? Could it? Whoa!
Quel dommage! It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspel's principles.
If I had a webcam, you could clearly see me staring right into it. They are as accurate gets. She does know! How? What principles?
The family Tuspels has always prided itself on sculpting its models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Et voila, our principles.
Water.
Using magic and water, thank you.
There's a well-known legend about the Tuspel's waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspel's family is said to have made a waxwork of the Queen, who was executed. Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now. I believe the Queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually at the guillotine site.
They say that there's a possibility that a decapitated head actually retains consciousness for like seconds after decapitation, and people's heads are able to witness their own bodies. That's under scientific contention by a long shot. As most, we have evidence, not evidence, but witness accounts that like, oh, okay, maybe there was a scientist at one point that's like, okay, here's what I'll do. Since I'm going to be executed by guillotine, here's what you do. Call my name, and I will blink twice if I can still recognize it after I die. And like the witness accounts are like, oh, he totally blinked. Whoa. But even that could be like total coincidence. It still doesn't really prove it. And even then, the witness accounts must be like biased. So what likely happens is that the person suffers from shock, especially from blood pressure instantly leaving their neck. So they should instantaneously fall unconscious. Should. It's interesting to think about, though. Imagine.
You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. We Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects.
This case is especially gothic / horror. You love the aesthetic. Oh, it's so good. Very European.
Dear me, a somewhat disturbing to nasty purpose.
It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. Ooh, shh. And it has been my family's secret for generations.
Do you mean to say that beneath that mask?
Oui, the true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous. It is out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tussauds special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer emerging from his own grave. It is a sight to behold. You should come.
This is not the time to self-promo. Madam. I'll take it though. All right. I'll come by any day.
I think, Madame, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation.
With pleasure.
You want to play more games like this? I know. Excuse me. Oh, water. Games like Fran Bow and A Little Misfortune definitely had that macabre, like Tim Burton-esque feel. So it's not Ace Attorney, but they're more like point and click adventure. So they're kind of like that. Very dark too. Very dark. Yeah, maybe not exactly macabre, but Night in the Woods is a very heavy like fall aesthetic too. I recommend that. Fun little cute game. The Professor Waxwork. It's possible your brain couldn't register the pain. You fall unconscious. It's hard to say. It's hard to say until you have it done to you yourself. Don't do that.
The special exhibit is based on a rumor that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse, in accordance with dispelled family principles. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
I guess.
The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this?
Oui, I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do, huh?
So you truly saw it? You truly saw the gravedigger put on the forceps? The stonemason does all the work? What's next? The barber giving you a haircut? The carpenter taking you out to lunch? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh yes! Oh no! The face of that monster!
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But the spells would not be the spells if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this.
How convenient for my case, eh, Van Zeeks?
Shut up.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, Madame. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from this time.
Yo-ho! Oh, look, at least this newspaper depicts, Drebber. Trevor just doesn't feel like a name. I keep forgetting that's his name. And then what here? Look at that. That looks like a Cyberman from freaking Doctor Who. Absolutely mortifying. Oh, is that supposed to be his, like, zombie warty face? Or is that like a steel, like, mask? It looks different from the mask he has on in the wax sculpture.
The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitness who saw it.
He went to the Wax Museum in Florida. Fun to pose behind the sculptures. I just found out that there's a branch of Tussauds in Hollywood, actually. I haven't been to that, but I have been to Hollywood Wax Museum. I found out they're different things. Let's read the newspaper, huh? Lowgate Cemetery, newly professor to the grave cover of Earth. Young man was seen raising a shriek next to a gunshot rang out. Gunshot? That's new. The bullet pierced the resuscitated man's chest, whose breath then stilled. Young youth and finally received the... Oh, interesting. That's new. I probably shouldn't know that yet. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. Mad sheep rampage. Sheep? Folded sheep were seized with a sudden fright, led from the pens. Let's see. Charles Darwin to receive... Copley Medal. Hey, look. Charles Darwin in the flesh. 10 years ago, huh? I guess if you put when he received that medal on the timeline and go 10 years from then we have the year this game takes place, huh? Let's see. The Great Stink. Uh-oh, Stinky. Let's not read that one. Who was ball masked to blame for the Great Blaze? Fire? Queen Victoria? Frederick Guy. What is this? Frickin'... Oh, Krakatoa. Krakatoa! Frickin' easy. Bell's Express 1, welcome on in. How you doing? Let me just check real quick. Charles Darwin... Copley Medal. When did that happen? I'm looking it up. 1864. But then that would put this game at 1874. Yeah, the timeline's all messed up. We knew that already. Core record. I believe it's probably just flavor text. Oh, I noticed something! Oh, I couldn't zoom on it in time. That picture was... can I see the picture? Oh, ass man!
Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words.
The public enjoy absurdity, monsieur. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it?
That is correct. The professor you see before you here?
Most puzzling. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination.
This might be the last cross-examination we have time for. This waxwork links Trevor to Dr. Scythe, and there has to be some reason for that which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened.
What really happened?
I'll prove that Dr. Scythe and Trevor were on this crime together! Oh, I hope I have time. Dum 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 da 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 da. Special exhibit, rumor, impression of the visage. I hid myself. Cool. Don't approach, very worried. Hold it! I don't really think that has anything to do with anything, but I want to see what she says. Dawn approaching? What time of day, approximately? Hi, Sholmes.
I could not say. When I left the cemetery, morning light was visible.
Execution took place on 17th June.
Indeed it did. First light would have been around 4:40 in the morning.
That really is early.
The fact is, I had very little time, so I finished my work in half an hour.
Couldn't you just taken a picture? Hey, we learned in the last game how to get some 3D imagery from pictures. Just take 2 pictures, cross your eyes. Easy.
It was necessary to complete the impression and bury the body before daybreak, of course. If somebody had discovered me there, it would have been a catastrophe, so I had to hurry.
Isn't me or Mr. Sholmes seems to be taking shape more quickly now, too? Wait, was the wax figure smiling?
You certainly appear to go to extraordinary lengths for your work, madame.
I wonder, is what she just said significant? Always. Madam, those details about how long it took you to complete the sculpture on early sunrise, could you include them in your testimony? I believe they may be significant.
Of course, if you'd like me to. You're quite right, Mr. Naruhodo. It's intriguing. A sunrise at 4 in the morning would be absolutely unimaginable at home, wouldn't it?
Ironically, in the land of the rising sun, Not what I meant by significant.
Kindly amend your formal testimony, madame.
With pleasure, my lord. I can't believe that was actually relevant. I can't. He's so coy. So let me just read this again now that I can see the whole thing. Let's see. So came out the earth, then within the next second a gunshot rang out. Nothing really talks about dawn here. What's this? The contract? Super high voltage, 30%, both are alive. Hey look, that proves what old Asman's signature looks like. Okay, let's press some more stuff. Look who illustrated. Yeah, Asman. So there's a connection there. It's got the same signature and everything, so it really is the same Oni Asman. What I need to figure out is where that's relevant. Because I can't just start throwing that at everything, can I? Let's see.
Hold it!
Did you have reason to believe you might be discovered once the sun came up or something? I had paid the gravedigger money to keep my little secret, of course. But with the morning light, I knew that the warden from the prison would commence his patrol of the area. Couldn't you just have paid off the warden too, then? You think I'm made of money? I'd already paid the gravedigger, as I said. You cannot buy the silence of everyone, or the secret is no longer a secret,
The sunrise was at 4:40 a.m. that day, which means it would have been around 4 when you began your sculpting work.
Oui, that must be correct. That would be when the gravedigger gave me the signal to come out of hiding. That's all I have to go on. What you feeling, Mr. Naruhodo? For some reason, Dr. Scythe went along with Drebber's plan. Now, if that really is true, then the professor is the only other thing we know that links the pair of them. So I feel sure that the waxwork must be a clue to this mystery somehow. In that case, we must use this cross-examination to uncover exactly what it means. Otherwise, the jurors are sure to revert their leanings and the trial be over. I agree, but interestingly, uncovering what the professor has to do with all this means more to Lord Zeeks than anything. True. Okay, so I think I don't have enough information to go on yet. I need to press something.
Hold it!
You were there longer than you expected to be. I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly. As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems with the chin. Dare I ask? The man had been dead for a short while already, you see. His muscles were relaxing, and consequently his chin would not align itself correctly. Oh dear, what a horrible thought. Can she tell us his name? Oh yeah, if it's a secret what he looks like, maybe at least tell us... Well, I don't know if the spells has reason to know what the professor's name was. She only knows what he looks like because she was there. Oops, sorry. Because she was there. Copying his face in person. Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. However, that night, I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time. What do you mean? Herlock Sholmes. When I took the impression of the visage of a cadaver, I always wait until 3 hours after this. Because of rigor mortis? Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant? Oh, the gravedigger's name. Maybe. Oh, heck yeah! Rigor mortis. That's a pretty good TV show. You know, rigor mortis? To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand rigor mortis. Ugh. I don't want to bring back that meme. Never mind.
Mortis.
Wriggly Mortis?
Mortis.
It is the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when the body is discovered.
Ooh. Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one.
As the mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
I see. So that's why you wait.
Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it's very difficult to do my work.
Ugh. It's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses. I wonder about the information that the coach just heard from Minute to Spill. Always significant. Always. Never in Ace Attorney is it ever not significant. Except I think like one time. Very, very rarely. The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see.
Of course, I do not mind at all. I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave.
This is no time for jokes, Mr. Sato. We just got a raid! Toucan Burrito. Thank you for the raid. General warning to anybody who comes on in and is new to this stream or this game. Let me just give Toucan Burrito a shout out. How you doing, Toucan? How's the stream? How's life? What were you playing? As a general warning, if you don't want spoilers for this game or the game that came before it, Great Ace Attorney 1, feel free to drop on out. I understand. If you want to watch me play it, though, I do have a YouTube channel. Hey, my bot just happened to shill my own YouTube channel at the right time. I didn't have to type anything. So go check it out there. You played Pokemon Black and White. Oh, Xenoverse, Pokemon fan game. Oh, I've heard of that one. Was it you who was playing it last time I saw, or was it somebody else? I don't remember. I know somebody's rated in before playing that, and I hear it's pretty good. I hear it's very good. I hope you've been having fun, Toucan. Welcome to Great Ace Attorney. It's a game about being a lawyer. In England. This game, at least. Usually it takes place in Japan, California. But this is an ancestor of Phoenix Wright. And we're seeing exactly how he handled law back in his day. You think you were playing Xenoverse last time? I thought. It was a fun time. Yeah. Ace Attorney slaps, heck yeah. Definitely play this game and the game that comes before it. I recommend it. One of my favorite games in the series now. Or I guess two of my favorite games in the series now. It has some things that people may not like over the actual series. But as far as a modern game, it definitely outclasses some of the other entries. This is no time for jokes, Mrs. Zato. Japangelis, yeah.
Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Then, sir, it took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described whereby the corpse becomes stiff after death. I think you said that it starts at the jaw about 3 hours post-death, is that right? So, okay, what's happened in the game is that I've pressed two statements and they both changed? That usually doesn't happen. Usually only one statement changes and I present evidence against that. But there has to be a reason both of these changed.
Oui, c'est ça.
Anybody know how to pronounce that? Does anybody know French in here? No, I don't know French.
Of course, the exact duration depends a little on the season.
I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well versed in the subject.
No, that is only elementary knowledge in the field of legal medicine.
Do you know that? Do you have other professions? Do you have a legal degree? A medicine degree? C'est ça. Okay, thank you. Also, Chumaito, welcome on in. Yeah, welcome on in, Raiders. Hope you're having a great night. If you don't know me, my name is Chris. I play pretty much anything on a Nintendo console at this point. Well, I had no idea about it, but maybe I won't admit to my ignorance about forensic science. After all, Naruhodo didn't go to law school.
I can ask my father to give you a very simple primer if you'd like.
Well, Professor Mikotoba isn't here. He'll be here soon, though. I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them.
Oh dear. I'll do my very best. Like no one ever was.
Yeah, welcome on in, Chumaito. Hope you're doing well. Let's press this one again. So she said it took a long time, but then she also said it took a short time. You have reason to believe you might be discovered once the sun came up.
I had prayed to give,
Paid money? Okay. So I read this already. I'm gonna think for a second. Just give me a bit. Yeah, this is old. So give me a bit to think. And it'll come to me what I need to present here. It's gotta be either to one of these two statements. Took you a long time, half hour before sunrise. Oh, not half hour total, half hour before sunrise. Okay. So just, let me see, actually. Anything that deals with the corpse would either be this autopsy report, or the 10-year-old article. I'm gonna go ahead and say maybe it's the autopsy report. Let's see. Death confirmed at midnight. Hey, wait a minute, no. Yeah, rigor mortis. What did they say? 3 hours, the jaw should already be set. So she really shouldn't have had a problem. Midnight to 4 a.m. That should have been fine. I'm saying it's this.
Objection!
Ah, dang it. Surely something about that last statement seems odd, doesn't it? It was probably the other statement. I think that other one talked about rigor mortis. I'm sure of it. This has got to be it. Yeah. Before rigor mortis. No. After rigor mortis.
Mortis.
Objection!
Easy. Madam to spells. Time and date, always count on the autopsy report. Thank you, Lilu Payne. Madam to spells. I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now. How old would Madam to spells be 10 years ago? She made it when she was 16. Excuse me, wow. Very talented. Toucan Burrito's got a dip. Have a great stream. Yeah, thank you, Toucan. Have a good night. It confirms the death of the professor following the execution at the gallows.
And is that a problem?
I believe it is, because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another. Oh, it just came to me how this is all coming together.
Quoi?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
At this point, I feel like that's a term of endearment.
Hello, my Nipponese friend. It's important that I call you friend, and that I'm using the term Nippon because I know it is your actual ancestral name for the country of Japan. Therefore, I'm trying to make amends for how racist I am.
No. I can only wish. Besides that, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking about the case at hand. If rigor mortis had not actually said, I don't think she's lying. I think the corpse she copied the face from actually was fresh. Fresher than the midnight time of death of the professor. Meaning that the professor faked his death. It's gotta be. So he just put in some extra corpse in. And that's the one she thought she copied. According to her testimony, Madame Spells was creating her wax impression just before dawn. And at that time, rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, madam? Madame.
You are, yes. As I said, the stiffening of the jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis, 2 to 3 hours after death.
Where'd they get the corpse from? Well, if they did have help from Courtney Scythe at the time, it would have been easy. She's the official, she's the official coroner. She's got loads of corpses to use.
But the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Scythe's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June.
No.
If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time he was sculpting his face, rigor mortis would have already set in.
Oui, yes, you are right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
Objection!
No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd. Absurd, I say.
In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time. Oh, we dropping the truth. Right on your face, like an egg. It's all over your face, Van Zeeks. Too bad, so sad.
I think it may be possible.
Time for another glass of wine, sir? Here we go.
Order! Order!
I meant to have the video up. I forgot where it was.
Council, this is beyond folly! Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of staff at Barclay Prison where the execution took place. By heck,
Extraordinary!
not in my day!
Objection!
What about the conclusion she's called to someone else? That's what I'm thinking. It's not what the game's saying yet, but I think it's where it's going.
My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact.
What fact?
The professor died that night, without question.
He did, of course he did. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands. There was no...
Yes, the professor died that night. But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Did it die at the... Are you insane?
Oh, no, wait, no. You're talking about the article that I read. Hey, good thing I read it.
What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and that one other person of interest. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting happened that night.
Council, present the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what
Really happened on the night of the professor's execution. Well, only thing I can think of.
Take that!
What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Oh, I'm a little bit surprised, but happy that I had the forethought. That the game uses text that is in an image rather than written out for you. The power of HD, huh? Very plainly written in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery. Pop culture reference, the game. Well, Ace Attorney is known for that. What's up, Corvus Albino? Welcome on in. Or Corvus Albino? Maybe.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now?
That's right, baby. We got zombies. The Walking Dead, anybody? Anybody? Oh, by the way, earlier today I was watching America Online at AOL.com. She was playing the season finale of Walking Dead 1, and I wish I could have been there for the whole time, but work got busy. Oh, I need to go watch it. Oh, that game is a trip. Well, if the article is to believe, yes. The professor assumed dead following his execution, you know, as you normally suspect out of an execution, emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Objection!
Dead Rising, let's go. They can do it. It's a Capcom game.
Don't be a fool. That is simply a rumor published by the gutter press. Gutter trash.
Can you be certain of that?
Are you serious right now?
The point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word, yes indeed.
My wee!
My we?
The young man who stole into the cemetery by chance that night.
Objection!
You've never seen The Walking Dead. I mean, I haven't either, but I played the video game.
Of course there was a witness. The story didn't write itself, but obviously the man made it all up.
Well, you know, quite interesting that. The man who made it up, supposedly.
And in any case, that was 10 years ago now. There'd surely be no hope in finding him.
Oh, no, actually,
Objection!
there is very much hope of finding him. He just might not be very talkative right now. On the contrary, my lord, we all know this witness well.
What?
Are you suggesting, Counsel, that you've identified the person in question? That you know who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events take place?
Hey, second time in this game we identify a writer by the image. Yes, my lord. In fact, you could say that he is right here before my very eyes.
You will substantiate your latest claim now and then, Counsel. Who is the alleged witness of the staggering scene from the cemetery 10 years ago?
So, okay, wait a minute. So, I might be getting ahead of myself, actually, because I do that when I play Ace Attorney. It might be asking about... I keep forgetting his name. Drebber? I'm gonna present Drebber first, because I think it's actually talking about the person in the picture.
Take that!
The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Trevor?
The previous witness?
We still have him in court, right? The special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork. Okay, I'm so glad I've played enough Ace Attorney to know when I've probably overstepped something. I've got instincts. Instincts that admittedly come from playing the series. Recreates the decade-old scene in great detail. Yeah, the witness of the event, not the one who reported it. Right. I mean, if he reported it, he technically did witness it. But I think if they're only talking about one witness, they really mean this one. The condemned criminal emerging from the grave, and beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Order! Order! Order!
Surely not, Counsel.
Don't call me Shirley.
Trevor was there? In Lowgate Cemetery?
What is all this talk about, Mr. Drebber? Is the name significant?
You should know. You sculpted him.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I'm just thinking. She sculpted him, for sure. So he has to have voluntarily gotten his face sculpted. Or, you know, because he was there, he had to come up with something real quick. To not totally reveal his identity. You think maybe he gave a fake name to Madame Tuspel? You think she doesn't actually know who Drebber is? Of course, Madame Tuspel doesn't know, does she? Yes, it's extremely significant, Madame. To your situation as well, in fact.
What situation?
The theft of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man.
No! But that would mean...
Madame Tuspels. It would appear that you know the name Enoch Drebber.
Oui, yes, I know it. But from long ago in the past.
What? Why am I surprised? I'm the one making the argument.
Oh my!
Also, she sculpted him.
Good gracious!
Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Why is he drinking champagne in court? No, it's straight up wine. It represents, blood, baby. He likes to throw his wine glasses into the audience. It's fine. Everyone's too scared of him to tell him to stop. A lot of people like to think that he stays after court proceedings. He stays late and just cleans up the spilled wine and broken glass himself. Yes, of course. You know the name. Yes. Surprised Pikachu face. The protagonist is slow and catching up with the facts again, even though they're the ones claiming them. The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in every single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain. However, in all of the articles, the witness was simply described as a certain young man. No details were published about his identity. His name was never revealed. You'd like to see art of Zeke's cleaning up? It's out there, I've seen it. I just don't have it saved right now. You just noticed Al in the bag. Yeah, he's a good boy. He teaches us how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Apart from in one newspaper. That is. Eyes are blinking. It's probably like lights that turn off and on. But really cool effect. Or maybe it's a real owl. The Daily Circus. It is the paper from which comes the article already shown in court. You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article?
Goodness me, yes, here it is. The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of its student dorms.
Were Van Zeeks and Hairbrain at University of London? I actually honestly haven't been paying too much attention. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. When I read the article, I wanted to meet with the man. His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of night would make a perfect exhibit for my House of Horrors, whether it was the truth or not.
I see. So you went to meet Mr. Drebber in order to scout the waxwork of the man, did you?
Is the court scene about reading the article like, is floor made of floor or not? A little bit. It happens a lot in Ace Attorney where the player might figure out something ahead of the actual characters. So we kind of have to just go through the whole song and dance. Everyone get up to speed. Oh, I'm used to it, but it is a problem with Ace Attorney, I think. Exactement. He was studying science at the University of London in those days. He was just a poor student. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork. That's a lot of money. And since that time, it has been my museum to recreate the scene of terror from the Muse Cemetery. The Muse Cemetery. Oh, you're right. It wouldn't have been at the same time as... Oh, also, hold on. Right. The Professor murders happened after Hairbrain left for Germany, so they would have graduated by then. You're right. Like, right then. Uh-huh. That's the whole point, that Hairbrain doesn't know about him. Right. Okay. So 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he'd witnessed. A criminal who had been put to death, re-emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. But the public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing anecdote that was soon forgotten. 10 years later, the same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal, ostensibly to use as a body double for the victim in case we're discussing here today. Even though the waxwork's build is a poor match for the victim and its face obscured by a mask. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing?
He didn't.
He did.
You're just guessing that.
But he did, though, because I say so, and therefore I am right. No, you. I am the main character. I'm always right.
I wish the series was called Van Zeek's Ace Prosecutor.
Too bad. Maybe you should have had a great-great-great-great-grandson named Phoenix Wright. Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the Crystal Tower. Here we go. If the birdcage in fact contained not the body of Mr. Asman, but that same waxwork. The coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated, Dr. Scythe, would have noticed immediately. And yet he submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court had seen earlier. Why?
Because the waxwork was that of the professor, is that what you're saying?
Dr. Scythe put a name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who is still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Drebber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would do anything to protect. It wasn't supposed to happen. Which is precisely why Mr. Drebber used that particular waxwork as the body double.
Ah!
Shot through the heart.
My lord, this court must summon Dr. Scythe to the stand. Uh-oh. But that's a no-no. Lord Vortex Strongheart, Male Strongheart said so. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Drebber are connected. Meanwhile, in the middle of Lord Strongheart's office, he's just casually sipping tea looking at his watch. He's like,
I sense a disturbance in the force. Ah.
But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Scythe is unable to participate in these proceedings. Is that not the case?
I'm gonna warn everybody right now. It's past 3 hours. I tell you what, we won't finish this case tonight. But while we go call out Dr. Scythe, I'm gonna say we'll take a little bit of time Thursday to finish this case, and I'll let that bleed into Skyward Sword time. It's all right. We can be flexible. Jamaito, thanks for the follow.
She told us so herself, didn't she?
Lord Van Zeeks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it. Lord Strongheart? The Pandora's box you are warned about is the Professor's case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me. Skyward Sword sounds like a Pokemon Sword remake. What shield then? Earthly Shield? Goddess Shield and Skyward Sword. Hey, just watch. How long has it been since Pokemon Diamond and Pearl that we are just now getting a remake, huh? Let me just look that up real quick. Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago. And surely nobody would want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord Van Zeeks. 2006. It's been 15 years, huh? Alright, calling it. 2030... yeah. 2036. Pokemon Sword and Shield remakes for the Nintendo Mind Injection system. At that point, we're just like projecting video games right into our brain. And surely nobody... Oh, yeah. Van Zeeks. You know you wanna...
The prosecution calls for the instruction in that missive to be scrapped.
Yo! On our side!
Lord Van Zeeks, the missive was issued from the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Objection!
The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial.
Dude, he's stepping up against his own boss.
In other words, me.
Yes! He said that out loud.
Let Enoch Drebber and Dr. Scythe both take the stand together.
Ooh, we're gonna get some, contradictions. The background music was like whining? Ugh. Sorry.
Order! 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 Very well, I will uphold your request.
There goes his license. I don't think he wants it anymore after this.
Bailiff, send a subpoena with immediate effect. Addressed to Dr. Scythe of the Forensic Investigation Team. The woman is compelled to attend Her Majesty's orders. All right then. ManokAdobo and Dr. Scythe. If they weren't colluding with one another, this crime could have never been committed. I'm just a stone's throw away. I can feel it, right in my giblets. The truth behind all of this is about to come out.
Let's pretend that it went to a save screen at that blackout. Because I'm just gonna call it right here. I'm not even gonna read what Baroque is saying. Let's pretend we saw none of that. Like I said, don't worry too much. We're not streaming tomorrow, but I will. I'll break schedule a little bit, and I'll wrap this up on Thursday. It might mean we don't finish Skyward Sword this week, but that's fine. That's alright, that's okay. These things happen, and ultimately, we're still playing some awesome games. So, before it gets too late for me, I gotta call it. Rotate your saves! Uh-oh. I heard that a little late. What did I save over? I saved over... I mean, I made sure not to save over the investigation because I wanted to replay the part with the wardrobe. If that's what you're talking about, we're fine there. But I did save over the trial I've been playing. It's okay. I gotta save at the bottom at the beginning of the trial, at least. I don't know. Is there a reason you told me to rotate? If it's for the wardrobe, we're fine there. Just in general. Oh yeah, I'm kind of doing it. Thanks for the chicken. Thank you, everybody. I know it's abrupt, but I really actually gotta stop before it gets too late. I gotta be up really early. I need to get sleep tonight. So hope you all understand. In any other situation, I would power through right to the end. So, emergency end coming up right now. Let's see if there's any art. Doesn't seem like it. But if you ever want to show fan art for the stream, as you can see, we've got beautiful art of Madame Tuspel from Windy themselves in the chat right now, in the bottom right corner over there. I'll put it up. I'll talk about it on Well Thank You. But, you know, it's not always there. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you all are waiting in anticipation, because I know I am. I don't know what it is. I think I'm finally in tune with Ace Attorney's logic, sometimes lack thereof. And I'm just really happy that I'm not, like, acting like an idiot in front of dozens of people. Because my stream has definitely picked up traction since I first played Great Ace Attorney. Yeah. Holmes pick? I'll show it next time, Windy, since I am playing Great Ace Attorney on Thursday. So yeah, I'll get to it then. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. I'll catch you next time. Next stream is on Thursday. Be there or be square. Yeah, I'll do my spiel. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitch to catch me live next time I play this or any other game. YouTube channel for past VODs, Twitter, Discord for updates. Links are all in the chat if you're on the Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna have to come live to see them. So that's some incentive for you. If you're going to sleep, have a good night. Please get some rest. I know I will. I should. And stay clucky, y'all.